What's up? What's up?
Welcome, guys. Welcome to the show. Really exciting show today. We've got a lady on that's going to talk to us about business valuations and how to value your business, how to increase the price that you can get for your business when you sell it, and what's the process of selling your business. And then purchasing businesses. I think this is a really cool time to purchase businesses. I'm looking at buying marketing businesses and stuff because of the price that they are now. So property and businesses are quite cheap to buy now. So welcome everyone to the show. If you haven't been on the show before, just pop in the comments there. That's your first time. And Willie, maybe just do a quick introduction for the new guys that hasn't been on the show before. Who is EHQ?
Yes, hi guys. Thanks for showing up and to come and view the show. Without you, there will be no show. So EHQ is we as an organization exist to we discovered that entrepreneurship is quite a lonely journey, and we wanted to start the Stripe where you could go to and you can come and mingle with other like-minded entrepreneurs. We firmly believe that you can fast-track your success by learning from other people, modeling from other people, and so forth. So that's how we kind of started off as a business. We build sales systems for big clients. We've got masterminds. And then one thing that we're quite passionate about is our business show. This is our give back projects, and this is the job where we pay to work. Exactly. So today, another super guest on here, me as an accountant, quite excited to listen to Bronwyn. When we speak about business valuations, I was mentioning to Eugene before, and we as accountants can actually sometimes overcomplicate things. And I recently had a situation where clients of mine needed the valuation, and it was so difficult to do just simply because of all the circumstances. And the way Bronwyn simplified this for me and helped me to get this valuation done was just phenomenal. So super excited. Give back, listen today. If you can learn how to build your business, surely you guys have started businesses not to just have a business. When you start a business, you want to get yourself some free time. You want to actually build some wealth. Today's the day where you can learn exactly what you can do to do that. And then Eugene, our purpose is to get the show out to as many people. Without our sponsors, we can't do this. So for everyone that helps us to get the word out there, thanks so much. And then I think, Eugene, we're ready to rock and roll.
Yeah. So it's firstly, the Movember's coming along. I
must say it's becoming quite prominent there.
You just need your glasses, then you're 80s pilot, 1980s pilot.
Cool.
So I think it's quite important to have an exit strategy. So a lot of us start a business and you end up working for the business. So you become an employee of your new business. And that is not where you want to be. You start your business for freedom, for time, for the money, and then you end up making less money, having less time,
and paying for a job.
Now you're working for the worst boss of all, yourself. So it's quite a process to go through that thing. How do you get your business from where it is now to a point where it's actually worth something? So it's talking about getting money off the table. So welcome to today's guest, which is Bronwyn. Bronwyn from Business for Sale. Welcome, Bronwyn.
Welcome, Bronwyn.
Hi guys. Thanks for inviting me for your last business show at the end of November. Luckily, just before everybody goes on leave. Hopefully, entrepreneurs are never on leave.
I'm going on leave.
Our businesses are set up to run quite remote. So you can kind of anyway. One of the business shows we actually presented from a wedding.
From the top of a mountain.
Yeah, and the other one was on top of a mountain. Yeah, pretty cool.
I'm glad to know that everything is going to always go ahead, no matter where you guys are.
Yeah. So, Bronwyn, welcome to the show. I think let's start off. Just give us a quick introduction. Who is Bronwyn?
Well, do you want the short answer or the long answer? So I can talk a lot. So just basically, I'm the director of Business for Sale. So it's actually, I'll start with it. It's a startup in the middle of a pandemic. So I think everybody knows it's quite challenging, but luckily it's been the best time to start a business like this. So the last 6 months really did grow. So how I actually got started in business broking and owning Business for Sale is I studied forensic accounting. And when I finished my studies, I decided, well, I don't want to go into an office. I don't want to sit in an office every day. And I joined a company that did business broking. So I started selling businesses. And within the first year, I was able to pay off all my study debt, and I paid for my wedding. And I thought, wow, this is nice. I quite enjoy this. So that's where I got stuck into it. So it's just, I've got a passion for business and for entrepreneurs. And I definitely wanted to be in the forefront. When someone wants to buy or sell a business, that's such an amazing part of their career and the decision-making process. And I wanted to be part of that process. So I've been selling businesses now for the last 8 years. And Business for Sale, it's doing very well. And I'm kind of giving you the opportunity as a business owner to either sell your business on your own. We give you the platform, we give you the tools, and we give you the buyers. But also for franchisors or agents to use our system literally to do that, just that, sell your business. But for me, it's more like a passion project to actually enable other people to do what I've done for the last 8 years.
Okay. Super. So, Robin, before the show, when we were doing our checks, you mentioned that it's quite a strange phenomenon that quite a lot of people are actually now selling their businesses, and I would have thought that it's really not the greatest time to do that, simply because of the knocks that Corona has caused. What would you say are the top selling industries currently?
So definitely, Corona and lockdown has had a massive effect on all small businesses. So a lot of my clients closed down, scaled down, retrenched a lot of their staff, moved to smaller premises. But it really helped a lot of businesses to reposition themselves. So what we've seen, so our expectation when I went live with my new website and system and launched this whole new business, our expectation was that there will not be business buyers, because who wants to buy a business in the middle of a lockdown? Businesses are closed. What's going to be the effect of these businesses in the long run? And we've actually seen quite an opposite effect. So what we've seen is a lot of our employees turned into business buyers. So they've got retrenchment packages, they've got cash available and funds available, and they're eager to buy a business kind of immediately because they can't go into their capital too much. So they need to buy a business because they need to buy an income. So it's very different on it's difficult to say focus on a specific industry. Yes, I've definitely seen on the inquiries coming through what industry people are looking at more eagerly, but people are still buying businesses because of their personal situation. Where are you situated? What is their own expertise? What funds do they have available, and what income do they need? So beginning that first month or two during lockdown, especially from level 4, we picked up immensely with our inquiries. People were looking at online businesses, and specifically online businesses and work from home businesses. Nothing with a large employees or staff to manage, and also not high rental. So if for some reason something like this happens again, they want to be able to operate remotely. So that was the number one thing. That was definitely a big peak. Also, we've got about 74% increase in all our business and our visitors on our website. So people are definitely actively looking at businesses. So if you're thinking of selling your business, there's 2 or 3 more buyers out there at this stage to buy your business than a year ago. It's a buyer's market. The sellers are definitely more in line with their prices at this stage. But industry-wise, I would say, and it's unfortunate to say, but there's an opportunity for entrepreneurs. Where the government fails in providing a certain service, there's an opportunity. education, telecommunication, security,
medical.
That's where your definitely your opportunities lie, and that's also where the buyers are. If you're thinking of private equity firms, what they're looking at buying: telecommunication, transport, education, private schools. I've got a list as long as my arm for people wanting to buy a private school. So that's where the market is at this stage.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
A question off topic that I'm quite curious about. What is the weirdest or strangest business that you've sold?
There's a couple that come to mind. The one I sold, my first business that I've sold ever was a bridal magazine. That she literally printed money. That business did extremely well. But the weirdest business was a farm. The cost of sales was literally zero. So what they did is they would go to the farmer. If any of the livestock were dead, they will go and collect the livestock for them, and then they actually sell that. They will filter it, they will sell it to zoos and predator breeders and everything. So I literally went there, gumboots, there's farm, there's livestock, there's pigs, everything. So very interesting business. And there was a need, and he was the only one in South Africa doing that. So he had drivers going all over South Africa, just picking up livestock, selling them to predators. So that was definitely a first for me, and I actually sold it, I think, within a month to that buyer. Not a pretty business, but it made money.
It makes me think of the clients of ours, Willie, that sell sand. You literally sell sand.
Sell sand.
If a business has a name and it makes a profit, it can be sold. Whatever it is, there was interesting ones which are respectfully declined. But
myself and Willie went to this business as well, and we went through some of the finances and stuff, and we started looking at how to automate some of the stuff that they're doing, some of their processes and systems. And the amount of money these guys are making, they literally have a piece of ground, and they've got a back actor that digs out the sand. They chuck it on the back of a truck and charge someone like
that's it.
Yeah.
Eugene, it makes me think of what it makes me think of what Tabo said, and I think it's a lesson for all of us to learn. What we tend to do as entrepreneurs, we try to overcomplicate things, and that just puts us in such a disadvantaged position from the get-go. Where some of these guys, I almost want to bet you that some of these guys didn't even properly go think through their pricing or whatever the thing is. It's just bring this thing, take this sand, put it on there, and send it to those people, and then give them an Excel spreadsheet and repeat this like 20 times over on a daily basis. And it's the same with the guys. Who would have thought you can sell dead carcasses all over South Africa?
Even that rocks, pet rock. Have you seen Pet Rock, Bronwyn?
Sorry?
Pet Rock.
No, I don't know.
It's petrock.com. They literally sell rocks as a rock. They got to pick up rocks, they put a rock in a little plate.
No, that's amazing. No, we've got a couple of different businesses that we've sold, and literally, for example, and the way how people start their business, and I think what Willie touched on, that was quite amazing, because how they started their business literally with 20,000 Rand, that's all they've got. They started from a 1-bedroom apartment, went backpacking in Europe, and came back with a business, and he sold sanitary ware for bathrooms, and they're actually selling to big corporates and hotels and everything. And that guy literally, he retired at age 34.
Yes, crazy.
So tell me, Bronwyn, if anyone is looking to buy a business, what would you say are the top 3 things that they need to look out for before you actually make that purchase? I've seen a lot of guys just outright purchase businesses, giving people money, and then they kind of buy this like paperweight thing. And for everyone that's viewing, we really want them not to make those mistakes. What would you say are the 3 things that they need to look out for?
Definitely, it's there's a lot of good businesses out there, but I would say stay within your lane. What is your expertise? What will you be able to do? So if not everybody will be able to run a spa or a retail facility. Literally, cents makes difference in the bottom line. So if you're not in the industry and it's not something that skills transfer can really happen quite quickly, rather just stay away from that. So also, if you're looking at, especially now, due diligences now are going extremely fast. So people are excited to buy these businesses. They've got cash available. They, like I mentioned in the beginning, they need to buy business. So just think about the decisive decisions, to make a decisive decision and not a fast decision. So when you start with a due diligence, I think the worst thing you can do buying a small and medium business is go to Google and download a due diligence list from a Forbes website or something. Small business in South Africa doesn't work that way. So it's very dependent on the type of business. So focus on that specific business. Ask for VAT 201s, ask for their little Excel spreadsheet that they've got. Ask for the financial statements, because especially if you buy the business not as a going concern, but actually buying the sale of shares, focus on that. And bank statements. Look at their database. So it's very specific when you do a due diligence to don't go through a list of 30 questions, because half of that questions that business owner won't be able to provide for you.
Would you say you need to get your accountant involved when doing these due diligences?
If you have a personal accountant that's been working with you, definitely. If you don't have someone and you're just going to Google someone or get a referral from a friend who does not know the industry, doesn't know your personal financial situation, it makes it actually difficult, because you're actually going to have a gut feel for the business. But it's also dependent on what type of business you're buying. Some businesses is very easy to do a due diligence on. You'll be able to do it on your own, but some businesses, especially if there's contracts involved and there's certain suppliers involved, maybe get your accountant involved, but they also should be able to actually walk that path after the sale, be able to help you with. So that's actually the more important, giving you that opportunity to that support after the sale. That's actually where it's a make or break for a business.
Okay. And you mentioned something about skills transfer. I know when I used to work in corporate, we actually signed in the owners for like a 2-year period to do that skills transfer. I don't think it's really realistic with these small businesses, but are there some kind of a clause that you can build into such a contract to get the relevant skills transfer done in such a way that you can actually run this business once that owner is gone?
Definitely, and that's very important, and that's also, it comes into the valuation as well. So if the business is heavily dependent on the owner and it's owner run, and all the clients know that owner, it's very important to have a restraint of trade in place. For me, if a buyer or a seller refused to sign a restraint of trade, I would tell my buyer, well, don't go, because that's actually the goodwill of the business. If you're looking at a sales and services industry, you don't buy a lot of assets, you buy goodwill. That's pretty much all you're buying. So that restraint of trade is so important, and especially now with Corona and everything going on, for that seller not to enter the market again. So not only have it as a restraint of trade, but also have a penalty involved if it enters the market again. Make sure there's a penalty, because it's very difficult. I'm not a legal expert, but we've tried to actually implement a restraint of trade, for example, in a beauty salon. That lady, she started doing nails and facials and everything since she's been doing it for 20 years. That's the way she makes her income. But to have a restraint and a penalty if she enters the market and she's doing the same services, she's enticing the clients, she is operating in a certain kilometer radius, there's a penalty involved. So make sure that restraint in trade is in place.
So those contracts are typically stuff that you guys will help with to set up and get done, right?
Yeah, so that's something that we assist with. It really depends. Just with that skills transfer, usually in practice, it would be nice to have a owner involved in the business for a prolonged period of time, but it's really difficult in practice to have that, because some businesses, for example, a restaurant or in the franchise industry, they get a lot of training from the franchisor. So maybe just a month or two with not really training, but just handover. This is how I do this. This is when I pay the salaries. That's easy handover. But if it's a very technical business, if that seller wants to have that high purchase price, then you need to be involved in the business for a prolonged period of time, at least 6 months.
Technical stuff behind it.
A lot of technical stuff.
So a lot of the time we don't want to pay for certain services because we think we can do it ourselves, and end up paying a lot of school fees, and it ends up being twice as expensive as before. So I almost want to say you don't want to buy a business if there's not a third party that can just help you test your theories and test your assumptions, and it's gone through the process, that knows what to look for. I sold a house, for example, that I tried to sell the house myself, and it ended up being a nightmare. And it was the third or fourth house that I sold. And after that, I paid the sales commission with a smile because of all the headaches and all the potential stuff that it's going to cause down the line. And it sounds like business is the same. It's almost on suicide to buy a business without having a broker.
Yeah. Yes, it can be, depending on the type of business. Some businesses literally, the broker is actually just that buffer between the seller and the buyer. So the buyer would say, you know what, I'm paying way too much for this business. I'm walking away if he's not giving me all the information. And you go back to the seller and you say, you know what, he just needs a little bit more information. I think then you'll be able to make an offer. But he was actually very angry with regards to that. On the seller side, he's thinking, well, I'm not getting enough for my business. This buyer is just stuffing me around. You go back to the buyer and you say, you know what, I think if we just put everything pen to paper, you will be happy. So sometimes it's literally just that in-between person. But that's also where I think Willie mentioned, have an accountant, have a third party, because sellers and buyers are very emotionally involved in a business. So if the two accountants rather talk to each other, let the seller and the buyer talk about the potentials and what they can do with the business and how they're going to work together and what are being solved. But when it gets to the technical stuff, get the two accountants, they talk to each other, they talk the same language, and they can go back to their part. So it's definitely able to sell a business without a broker, just having that support from a third party, just checking yourself, because sometimes a buyer loves that business, but it's not worth the price that the seller is actually asking. Have that accountant, just that voice of reason, saying, you know what, great business, but not at a PE of 3. We need to do it at a PE of 1.5.
Okay.
This is a topic totally off, or a question totally off topic. What is your dream?
My dream, and there's actually a couple of names.
So we're back here in 5 years from now, and life is absolutely amazing. You've achieved everything you want to achieve. What is that?
So for me, that's actually where I started Business for Sale. So for me, like I mentioned, it's a passion project for me. I love business. I love entrepreneurship. But what I've definitely seen, and there is a lack in, I've done very well with business broking. I was one of the top brokers in a very, very male-dominant industry. I was for a couple of years top female broker, and I've seen on how people actually lose out. It's so important when you sell your business. That's the number one thing. It's actually your asset. It's what you've built up for the rest of your whole life. How do you capitalize on that asset? And a lot of people are so 100% involved, an owner involvement in that business, because if you take that person out, what's actually left of that business? So my dream definitely is to assist people on that coaching and that consulting before they sell the business, because when they come to me, it's actually almost too late. So they want to sell the business in the next 2 to 3 months. I will have a buyer for you. We will sell that business. But that year and a half before selling that business, getting it sale ready, getting it saleable, achieving the top price for your business, that's where my dream is, to actually provide people with the necessary tools when they sell the business. And also for me, helping that female entrepreneurs started the business literally from their house to grow that actually to a proper good business, which they were able to sell and capitalize on that opportunity. So that's where I'm going at.
Oh, that's so cool. I think I mean, George mentioned the goodwill is attached to previous business owners, and I think what you're referring to now is businesses. Yes, there's a person connected to that, but there's certain things that you can do in this business to give this business goodwill, like marketing systems and so forth, proper accounting records. And I think that's what you're referring to when you said you want to coach these things. And I think I myself as an accountant also see this mistake quite often. These guys just get hurtful and they want to sell their stuff now. But my first question to them is, so who's going to run this business? Did you set up this business in such a way? And they're like, no, I've run it. It's working well. I said, but what if you leave? That type of thing. So, yeah, I think you will add quite a lot of value to businesses by giving that service. And maybe, I think accountants can learn from you. I think like I said, we overcomplicate things.
No, I like the accountants. I like the accountants. I don't like the bankers per se, and landlords not that much. But your accountants not bad.
Yeah, cool. Eugene?
Yeah. So we are in the tech space. Myself and Willie love the tech industry and the tech space. How do you value a e-commerce business? So if we build an e-commerce business and we want to sell it one day, what is the things that we can do to really increase the value of that business?
That's a fantastic question, because I'm getting that quite a lot, and because e-commerce and online businesses are getting so popular at this stage, and there's a lot of buyers in it, it's a good thing because it's scalable. So any business that's scalable, that you'll be able to run from anywhere, and you'll be able to train someone else to do that. So to focus on a couple of things and to value that business, first thing, you start at the bottom. What is the net profit? That's remotely and without your assistance, obviously it's going to have a higher value because anybody can take over the business. So our buyers pool are getting a lot bigger because anybody can actually run that business. And then also your customer base. Who's your customers? If you have a customer base it needs to be very diverse, because if I've got a couple of businesses, fantastic businesses, but the one thing is one of their customers are 60-70% of their income. That's a big risk, because if I take out that one client and they don't have a contract with that client, what's left of the business? So make sure that the business client base is quite diverse. And recurring income. If there's recurring income in your business for some reason, if it's, for example, if I go to education businesses, so online education business, fantastic, because you have one course and someone can buy it again and again and again and again. So that's number one. So if that's that recurring income that comes in while you're sleeping, someone else is purchasing something on your website, that's what you're looking at. So that's the risk for that new buyer is a lot less, because they can see what's the income for the next couple of months or the next year or so.
Yes.
The thing that you say really, what's it? When you're rich, that's how much money you have. When you're wealthy, that's how much money you make while you're sleeping.
Yep.
Exactly.
So make money while you sleep. That's where we want to be. Sure. Yeah. So we're running out of time. But Bronwyn, what's your biggest reason for your success?
My success, I don't think at this stage, I feel I'm making that much success. I'm very busy. Well, the main thing for me is, and it sounds very cliche, but it's passion. If you really love what you do, and I don't agree with the saying, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. Quite the opposite. You're going to work extremely hard for long periods of time, but it's going to be worth it. So
exactly.
For me, it's definitely have a passion for what I'm doing. I love business, and also who do I partner with? Who's with me in this business? I don't want employees working for me that's not having the same vision that I have. I don't want to just pay you a monthly salary and you're glad to run out here at 4:00. So the people that you partner with, so I have a fantastic team that works with me at Business for Sale. They have exactly the same dream and passion. They share my passion for business. And that's also where the success lies. I studied this amazing course, and I was very happy and I enjoyed my studies for forensic accounting. But that actually, it just sets you up to say, that doesn't mean anything. A degree on the wall doesn't mean anything if you can't actually utilize it.
Yep.
So that's my thing. I have a passion, which I do. I've been doing it for 8 years, and I can see myself doing it for another 8 years, but just growing and then from there.
So I've got one more question before we go all Willie, and I don't know if you've got something else. What are some of the mistakes that you see business owners make? Because obviously you see them running the businesses and all that sort of stuff. I'm not just talking from a selling perspective. What are some of the business mistakes that people make?
I think with regards to the businesses, there's two things that's always very important, and your two main assets, but also your mistakes, is your employees. So your employees are usually your biggest expense, but they can also be your biggest headache. But also look after them. Make sure you train them, because I'm always thinking with the end in mind. Nobody starts a business to never sell it at all. You don't know what happens in your life. It might be, for example, you fell ill, you need to immigrate something, so you need to train your staff so when you're not there, they can go ahead. I think I've read a quote the other day is, but what if we train our staff and they leave? So what if we don't train them and they stay? So that's number one. And keeping the overheads low, because if something like what happened with Corona and lockdown, entrepreneurs need to have a cash flow for at least 6 months, and most of them don't. And the main thing that I say, what a lot of entrepreneurs, you're living out of your business. Your business is literally a lifestyle business with all your personal expenses, your wife's salary in that business, your son's salary, cars, everything.
Yep.
Get value out of that business. We need to take all of that out, and then it's extremely difficult to get your right price. So there's definitely creative ways to do your accounting, do it the right way. For Willie, he can help you with that, doing it creative, but making sure that the business actually on paper has a value.
Yep.
That's very important. We talk about it a lot. When you only really start having a business when you start having employees. Before that, it's kind of just a job you're doing. And
you're self-employed.
Yeah. Business before employees is actually quite simple. You have a product, you sell it at a profit. When you have to start managing people, now you have to sell it at a profit to pay office expenses and net office costs.
That's a different challenge.
Firstly, it's interesting, and secondly, it's challenging. It's exponentially more difficult as your size of the business goes.
Yes.
But Bronwyn, that's all for me. But do you have something else before we jump off?
I think maybe give us one tip or 3 tips quickly. How do guys increase the value of their business?
Well, I've touched on it, I think a bit earlier, is making recurring business. See how you can put processes in place, because you're going to get a higher value for your business. So business, if you're thinking of IP, doesn't have a lot of value if you don't make profit. Asset doesn't have any value if you don't make profit. So profit is key, but making sure it's recurring, making sure that the business can do it without you being involved in that business, making sure it's scalable, and people don't pay for potential. You need to create the potential, you need to show it, and then hand it over. So that's the main thing. There's no value in potential. I can't sell an idea.
Cool. Thanks so much, Bronwyn.
Thanks for joining us for the business show. Then just lastly, if anyone wants to join our Mastermind group, you can go onto our website, Entrepreneur HQ/Mastermind. But maybe just pop a link there in the comments. If you want to join our Mastermind group, where all our courses is, and we share some private information that we don't share on the other stuff, and join our private Zoom meetings once a month. It's $199. I mean, really cheap if you consider we charge $3,000 for a coaching session. You get that for $199. So if you want to join, go onto our website and join. And then I shared the link on the EHQ group on our WhatsApp group of the event this evening. Who's joining? Just pop there in the comments if you are joining. I'm going to see you there tonight. I am one of the speakers at the event as well. So this was my warm-up for today. Bronwyn, is it okay if we share your details on our mastermind group?
Yeah, please do.
Will you just check you sent it in a private? I see. So we can share your details on the group. So if any of our members want to connect with you and list their business or look for business to buy, I thought there was one comment, someone looking for merchandise or something like that business.
Perfect. I actually have 2 on my website at the moment. So yeah, definitely. It was very nice to be here this afternoon. It's nice to be on this side of the camera. Usually I have a look at you guys and I quite enjoy the show. So yeah, share my detail. You've got my email, direct email and cell phone number. Even if it's just a call or some advice with regards to thinking of selling a business, they're more than welcome to contact me.
Awesome stuff. And we'll chat next week about the digital marketing. Is that digital marketing business still for sale?
Yes, it's still for sale. I think there is someone looking at it, but yeah, there's a couple of new ones also coming through.
And you'll sell the best business, all right? Good stuff. Bronwyn, thanks to all our viewers. We can't do this without you. So
cool stuff.
Really thankful for that. Hans, maybe just send me your email address quick, or pop your email address in the comments, then I can send you a link for the event tonight. It's starting at 6, I believe, so we have to get going.
So once again, Bronwyn, thanks so much for sharing your knowledge with our viewers and everyone that turned up to come and learn. So hopefully you've learned something. And yeah, we'll see you next week.
Oh, man, thanks, guys. Okay.
You have to do the EHQ.
Okay.
Cheers, guys. Keep well.
Bye.
Bye.